Behind the Hooks. With Manny DeGrandis. And Daniel Panetta.
Whoa. Well, hi.
Hey,
So
you've changed.
There's a couple changes. I as well as the room. At least I know the constant is gonna be like Manny doesn't change. Manny stays the same. As long as Manny stays the same, I can just do
You
whatever.
can do whatever you do.
I could do whatever I want with myself. The constant of this show is Manny. That's it.
I don't age,
You don't age.
And
You
I
don't.
but I don't feel better.
Welcome to Behind the.
Sponsored by Corona, the thing that's killing us.
Mentally, emotionally, and physically.
Danny's like, "You want a Corona?" And I'm like, "Yeah,
You have to.
I have to."
You have to. We've been getting questions
Yep.
about this show.
Yes.
We've been getting concerned
Concerns, which is nice too.
about this show, which is nice. It is nice because people care about not necessarily us.
No, not us. Something to do.
So we've moved from my my dining room into the actual studio.
Moving on up.
We're moving up in the world. We're here after, I want to say, a solid month.
Oh, more than that. Yeah, Christmas and
About 5-6 weeks.
even 7.
So let's talk about it.
What happened?
What did happen? I mean, you know what? We knew we were going to take a break over the holidays.
Yeah, we're gonna take.
And then over the holidays was when here in Ontario, lockdowns went back to, I get phase 2.
I don't know.
It went back to phase 2, which basically meant like you can't dine inside, you can't do
No
anything,
live
no
music.
gigs, nothing. So everything shut down there. We were very serious about continuing on because we don't believe in seasons for podcasts. But this is going to be season 3.
Somehow, some way. Yeah,
But I think what happened also, I got very sick.
you got sick.
I probably got the vid.
Got the vid.
And then we both kind of like just
Yeah,
mental fog
yeah,
for a solid 4 weeks after that.
yeah. January was rough for most people. A lot of my friends, everybody in the industry is just kind of like, again. It was hard. All the January gigs, all the things we had lined up, just gone again. And just because things are open, people are now like, "Hey, when's your next gig?" I'm like, things literally open Tuesday.
Yeah.
Bars have a hard time. Some bars are great; they dive right in, but some bars just can't afford it. They're just like, "I don't know if anybody's going to show up this weekend." So
Yeah,
how
they need
can
to
I-
accumulate
Yeah.
get people like asses in seats basically to accumulate the funding to be able to afford live music. Because they don't just pay you from their till the night of the live music. They want to make sure they have something ready before the band even shows up.
the good bars, yes.
The good bars, the good venues want that, right?
And at 50%,
What do you get? And no dancing.
and no dancing. So, yeah.
It's
So
like Footloose, man.
Footloose again.
Yeah.
So,
I guess even the government at this point has gotten to a point where they're just like, you know what? Let's just live with COVID.
Yeah. I mean, kind of the great thing about this last round of COVID is that so many people got it and so many people survived easily.
Is that, you think that's a testament to the vaccinations and just, people listening,
Yeah.
right? Paying attention.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Like if, I mean, I don't want to talk too much about vax, but definitely everybody being double vaxxed and boosted really helped the getting over it. Obviously, there's no proof. Obviously, you could have all that and still pass it around.
Yeah.
Which is why I hate the word vaccine. I wish it was called COVID shot.
Just a shot
COVID shot to get you through her.
to get you.
Nobody listened to me. I was like, just call it to get you through her
Get you through her.
because it's going to get you through COVID.
That's
You're
actually
gonna-
really good.
Yeah.
I never really liked the term vaccinated, right? Because before COVID, when you think vaccinations, you think, the
Where's polio? Because we got vaccinated.
your your hepatitis shots that you had to get in elementary school and stuff like that.
Didn't fully work for me.
Manny's just got A through Z.
Yeah. Apparently you can get more than one.
Yeah, all at the same time.
Who knew?
But I mean, that's what I thought of. We're like vaccinating your kids, the babies, your pets for heartworm and stuff like that. Never did I think that vaccine would become this verb. Vaxxed.
Vaxxed.
Did you get vaxxed? It's a verb.
This, that's the problem with this world. Is the verbs. Make everything in a verb.
It's probably not a verb. I didn't do well in English.
Noun. So we're here. We're back. We don't even know what to talk about because we've been up to nothing.
But at the same time, I think there's a lot to talk
There is
about
a lot to talk
with how this lockdown affected us differently.
Yeah,
It was a little bit more difficult, wasn't
it
it?
was. Just look at how many live streams. People weren't doing it. People are like,
The motivation
people
was
would
gone.
rather just sit down and not do anything than turn on their Facebook. I saw maybe 3 people do a random live stream. All the whiskey and strings have been going through, but even their turnout of people is less than it was, let's say, last lockdown, where she'd have to be like, no, I'm sorry, I got a cap at 12, and now they're like, okay, 8 people, because people just, you just don't care. Like, I don't even know how to sugarcoat or anything. You just don't
there isn't.
care. You don't want to practice. I'm seeing like friends of mine on Instagram. They'll be in the story and be like, practicing for nothing. Finally practicing, and for what? And because a lot of places finally shut the doors. A lot of the theater gigs shut the doors, and a lot of people lost a lot.
Yeah.
A lot, and it's just it's just hard to do it again, right? I just feel like I'm in a bad relationship with the government, or COVID,
with
or
COVID,
whatever.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like the government is the parent that's telling you that you can't be with her, like, but everybody else has.
Everybody else.
I'm with you. Like, I did not do any of my live streams. I didn't really do much other than I just wrote what I was feeling, what I was thinking, and that's pretty much the extent of the music portion. Trying to set things up for when everything lifts up again. For Supersonic, and even getting back in that swing of things. Like I went through a solid month of like I didn't want to take anything on because it's just like between being sick, doing work, and then trying to stay motivated musically. It's like it's exhausting, man. It was so exhausting. So stopped cutting my hair. Something had to go. Something had to go, and maintaining a haircut was what had to go.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that out of the way,
New room, new year, new us.
yeah. So I guess so. This would be season 3. Season 1 was at the old place. Season 2, I guess, was the other room, and season 3 will be here. Season 4 will be on the roof. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we'll
Keep moving up.
Maybe we'll be on a terrace somewhere.
Yeah.
Or maybe Market. We'll go to Market
Yeah.
and just
They're nice
hang
people.
out there.
Well, hang out.
You
Got the key yet?
What?
Did you get a key yet? One of us will eventually.
Somebody has to.
One of us will
Somebody
have a
has
key
to.
eventually.
I mean, yeah, we have to. Actually, we started the jam there,
Yeah.
and I gotta say that was so much fun. Big shout out to Market Brewery for teaming up and helping me with that. That was a lot of fun.
I was surprised they jumped on it so fast. And I know people aren't even ready to go to a jam.
A little bit trigger shy.
For just like, oh my God, I haven't practiced or seen people or whatever. But you said you had a nice turnout, which
I
is
did.
nice.
Leon Kristen came.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Jack was there, of course. He jam, beer, let's go. And then we had some like new jammers. Somebody that I a friend from high school that was just there, and he was in my brother's grade, but he jammed. Brett behind the bar jammed.
Oh, Brett, yeah.
It was a lot of fun, man. Like it was a great time, and it went from 2 to 6. It was earlier in the afternoon, but they had their flight specials going on, and people came in, played board games, had some pizza, brought their dogs. It was nice. Yeah, it was a good time.
It's great. I remember you mentioned, I'm going to do it in the afternoon. They wanted to do it in the afternoon. That was Bill's idea, and I was like, I'm always like no, and then I'm like, wait a second, that's a great idea, because especially like once it starts getting even warmer with the door open and everything.
Yeah, you can watch the sun go down and stuff like that, right? So it was really nice, and I look forward to. Right now we're doing it bi-weekly. We see how things go, and So
we should people should follow obviously your Instagram and Market Brewing, and because Market Brewing is actually amazing at
their social media game is hard, man.
So you go there and you know exactly what's going on through the whole week. Like.
Lots to come. There's a
and they're going full bore. They're like, okay, we're going back to trivia.
Yep.
Playing there. This Friday, which will be would have been done.
You played there
last
week.
There 2 days earlier.
Yeah.
So it's just they're amazing at that, and I think that's and people will. It's a big thing. People. I was talking about this because a friend of mine called me yesterday talking about just more bookings and how trying to get the town to start booking again and like the bars in town, and I said, look, he was asking for some minor advice. He knows what he's doing, but I just said, just get the bars to like post at the beginning of the month on their Instagram just a picture of the entertainment of the month so people know to go there. They don't have to be as good as Market Brewing where they're constantly doing the stories and all that, but you just need
something
somewhere
to look forward to.
I understand updating websites hard apparently, although I do that for a few things, and it's not at all. Especially if you're just doing a calendar thing. It's very easy to do, but people don't want to do it, and I get it. And the bar industry is hard too, because you're going to really get someone to run a website when you need to actually. It's better to pay someone to serve
I don't
somebody.
Understand the excuse. Everything's integrated now.
I know.
One post goes everywhere.
Yeah. So just more posts, like, and when you have a good thing going, like some bars have a good thing going and they just drop the ball in a lot of things, or even
Who is
get
he talking
shittier
about?
bands, right? And don't waste your time, posting on apps in the neighborhood. No one's going to see them. It's kind of dumb. What? This guy's hilarious. No one's going to, you got to just put it on your Instagram. Every bar should have an Instagram page.
Oh,
and that's it. Because
it's the 21st century. Of course they should.
And especially Facebook, like you said, you do an Instagram post. Would you like to post on Facebook?
Yes.
Yes.
Just select yes.
Yeah,
just select yes.
yes.
It's like the opposite drug campaign. Just say yes. For social media, just say yes. That's it. So this season, we're going to have great guests, like we always do. We have great friends in the industry.
Slow and move up.
Just like we did it in last season, where it's things to look forward to.
Yeah.
But because we're in the studio now, we have quick access to just playing with gear, playing instruments, and having it direct plugged into the studio equipment. And
who knows?
Why not? Trying things out. I put up my bass just because it's us. Look, see, I'm the guitar. You're the bass.
We put the Annie in. Stuff.
But you're taller than me, so I had to put you a little bit lower. Just because we need to be just like sitting down, right? The bass is sitting down. That's all. So yeah, we'll have
Let
some
us
jams.
know if you want us to play a tune or two every once in a while.
You know what? That's a great idea. Maybe we should do like a request segment where at the end we'll pre-record it and we'll do like a jam thing, either with the guests that we have or just you and I, and we'll play some tunes. Why not?
Yeah.
You know what? Monetization don't mean no thing.
No, me, no thing. No thing. All they do is while you're trying to put it up on YouTube, they're like, this has got copyright. And you're like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, whatever.
And they still play it.
They still do.
Although this poor girl released, because I work with the Toronto Blues Society, and then we do sometimes we do special, album drops or whatever, but just from us first. Like we get the special for our fans and whatever, right? Everybody kind of does that. I'm losing the real term, but so we did it. We did it on the Thursday, and the poor girl's like, oh, the YouTube cut it off for copyright, but it was her whole album. But because she released a single a few months prior, although it was still under her thing, it was like, oh wait, that song caused copyright infringement, yet it was all her anyways. So
you know what? That might be something interesting to talk about,
because you got that too with your stuff
for my two singles ago. Yeah, 2 singles ago. So what happens is, depending on who your distribution company is, if you select the YouTube section, so in this case, like a CD Baby or something like that, it is really great because it won't shut down the episode, or it won't shut down the show. It just demonetizes that portion. That so like
they actually shut hers down.
Yeah, so that's because whether her distro deal or whatever the case may be is super strict when it comes to YouTube licensing, right? So and it might be because the distribution there's a segment for it just to go to YouTube. So she has a segment just for that song on YouTube, so it'll allow for like a lyric video, music video, and then a play reel kind of thing for playlists, right? And then anything else, they go after that video for the money to compensate the artist. Yeah, which is awesome. It saves artists from people stealing their stuff.
Legit, there's stories of people stealing.
Yeah,
that happened.
So in our case, for that episode where we played my single, it's not that if that episode was sponsored at the time, it wouldn't take away the entire segment. No, it would take away they would look at the analytics of how many people watched that segment.
And which is crazy.
And watched that portion of the video, so the last 3 minutes or so, right? And then bring that back to my royalty collection, right? So it's actually really great. So, anytime that but it even happens with me. Yeah, so if I'm playing a live, I'm in the video. Yeah. If I'm doing a live off the floor version of a song that I've released, I'll get a copyright claim. And it's like, okay, it's coming to me anyway.
Yeah. So it's going to take a different angle.
It's just it makes my analytics look bad. Yeah. Can we chill? Just a little bit? My name is literally right on the subline.
And that's something, they're changing that a lot. They're really catching on and fast too, because I did, another thing I had to do with them was we decided to release this thing called Talking Blues, which was 3 segments of three older blues artists from 3, and then and I put them together and released it as a live stream video for the night. And the middle artist, I got the monetized thing, and it said, you could put it up, but you're gonna get no money for that. It's like, no, we're not. We're not.
It's not for the money at that point.
We're actually doing it for all of them. But it was great that they let it go up. And it was just, and they caught it. Yeah. They caught it right while you're uploading it. It's not when it's on, it's when you're uploading it.
Yeah. So you'll be safer just in terms of upload for anybody that is having troubles with posting covers and stuff like that on their YouTube page. You will find that you will get a claim either directly from the label, because they're the one distributing the that specific song for the artist that you're covering. 9 times out of 10, it'll let you post the video. You won't get any monetization from it. That's why a lot of YouTubers and stuff like that, endorsement deals are their bread and butter. It's not necessarily about the analytics, it's about ad revenue. Yeah. So you're safe to put up the video. There are some labels out there that will immediately make you strip down the video completely.
Prince.
Well, yeah, and you know what? That's a thing from, that's a stipulation that he's made directly. It's like, I don't want people covering my stuff. You know, do your own thing kind of thing, which I understand to an extent, but I mean, like, the highest form of praise is, you know, somebody appreciating it so much that they want to bring it into their, do it themselves.
That's an interesting. That's interesting. Does that still apply in this day?
Honestly, if somebody covered my music, I would absolutely love it.
Okay, the first time.
You think you'd get annoying?
Well, think about, like, okay, I know it was different back in the day because there'd be writers that write a song and then 5 different artists cover it, right? But, you know, okay, like, obviously the Dolly Parton, Whitney Houston cover, like, obviously she loved it, all that, and then it made her lots of money. But with YouTube, it's a copycat thing, I almost say, like, or stealing views thing, or so clickbaity thing, or so my highest views on one of my videos is that Peter Hook thing I did, you know, and it's up to 9.3K views, right? Which is ridiculous for just whatever. So, but because of that, my other, you know, like, now, did I do that to bring people to my page to watch my other stuff? Right? No, but
it helps.
But it helps, right? So that's what I think. That's where there's the problem. The problem lies, right? I'm gonna go do Rolling Stones songs because I know people are gonna come, and then they might listen to my originals.
Yeah.
So I get that now, like this past 5 years or something. It doesn't stay true as if, like, you know, if you're doing the Super Bowl and you threw in a verse and chorus of a Prince song, that's flattery and that's respect, right? That's,
like what Justin Timberlake did and throwing up Purple, you know, during the show in Minneapolis, right?
That's where you're like,
tribute.
oh,
that's tribute more than it is covering.
Yeah, but
like what Bruno Mars did with "Let's Go Crazy" at that awards show, dressing up like him, playing the arrangement identical to how he played it. That's a cover.
But it was an awards show. It wasn't. I'm going to put it up on YouTube in my bedroom, and hopefully people will Google.
Couldn't find it on YouTube after it went up, though.
No,
could not find it anywhere on YouTube. He did a great job. He did do a great job.
Oh yeah.
But you know, so I think it's dependent on what kind of artist you want to be, or, you know, if you are looking for the traffic, it is a helpful tool. Okay, if that's the kind of content that you want to put out, if you need eyes to go on it, then putting out specific covers. There is a formula. Putting out specific covers at a specific time. You know, no more than 5 days after the release of the original. Then you put it up on YouTube, you'll get immediate traffic. So I did an experiment. I did the acapella version of the Maroon 5 song Memories. And I did like a multi-track video for that. The acapella one. Immediately, right, like 10,000 views. Just like,
because you
like
did
nothing.
it
I think it was like less than 5 days after the original.
Because you're seeing a lot of people now, doing up the bass cover, doing the drum cover, doing the guitar cover, and then a vocal cover so fast. Because you want to be first now.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, the internet's all about being first.
Always. Trends. Setting trends. So, you know, I ran that experiment.
Everybody wants to be a Pam and Tommy.
Right. But then you start becoming part of accidental trends. This is what I found too. So I put up a Whitney Houston song. I Have Nothing, right? That song came out when I did that. It was during COVID.
Yeah.
So like
Which one?
First lockdown. So I put it up.
We still had hopes and dreams.
Right. Yeah. So when I had time to self-produce like that. So I put it up. I wasn't expecting much out of it. That was more of a cathartic thing for me because I wanted to do that song. I heard Brian McKnight do it just in his bedroom. I was like, man, that's gorgeous. I love that song. In his bedroom. Yeah. Just sing to me, dude. Like, teach me how to do those runs. And so I put it up. You know, you get your 400 views. Cool.
Yeah.
Right? Leave it. A year later, I get a notification that I got a comment on it. A comment. I only got a notification for one comment. Yeah. I go and look. There's like 30 comments. Yeah. It's up to like 4,000 views. Yeah. I'm like,
it's crazy.
What?
So when did this happen? Did it? What do you think did it?
What happened was that song became a trend somewhere else, either on TikTok or Instagram or something like that.
I posted the thing. What have you done in January?
Right.
Nothing.
Yeah, so it became a trend.
Yeah.
So people started looking for that sound and in turn found videos of other people doing it. So it becomes it's an accidental trend, right? It was the same thing with Hopelessly Devoted to You. When I did that song, I did that in 2019. Then it became a TikTok trend.
And then
shortly after that with like an electronic version of that song.
Okay.
And people just wanted to hear the original. Mine started popping up a little bit more. That one's at like 13K. So it's like, it sometimes it happens that way where it's accidental. Most of my success has ever been accidental. I promise you. Like, yes, you put in the work, you do your practicing, all that stuff. But sometimes, like, I'm not psychic or anything, right? Sometimes you just put a song up because it's a good song and people happen to agree.
Yeah. Well, when COVID hit, like, I had all these, these solo bass songs and versions I did learn. And then I was like, well, this is kind of dumb. I got nothing. So I started putting them up at the beginning of COVID. I was like, I got time now. Let's just record these just to have them recorded. And, which is nice with the camera. Now you have like in a video yourself, right? Because, I recorded some stuff, but I'm like, where do I release it? I have no distribution. Like, am I going to do it? Like, why would I put it on Spotify? Like, no one's going to, you never know, but like, no one's going to bother. And then the Peter Hook thing was this wonderful chain of events of like, Yamaha called me to try out some Ampeg bass amps, and they're like, you want to borrow a Yamaha bass? I'm like, yeah. And then they're like, we have this Peter Hook bass, and I was like, that's cool, this is fun. And I right away, you got to start playing the one song that I knew. I had no idea. Like, I mean, I knew a little New Order and growing up, but those were the preps, man. I was a rocker, man.
Right.
Give me Metallica. I wasn't gonna listen to New Order, but now like I freaking think he's amazing. I started lifting these songs. I was like, this guy's amazing, but it's so repetitive. I'm like, I should just put 15 bass covers in a row in one video. Yeah, that'd be a great idea. And then it was really cool that it worked out but it was like, I felt like it was a slow start. I don't even know, because it was only 4 months and it got over 9K views. So I guess it wasn't slow, but I feel like in the beginning I wasn't getting anything. And then people start commenting. And this is great. Oh, this is great from all over the world. And it just, I guess, it keeps popping up in people's. I don't understand fully the algorithm, because today, even on YouTube, I'm like, why is this? There was a cover. So, yeah, I don't know. Okay, so
I don't know how to internet. You're asking the wrong guy.
So I'm looking at my homepage, and there was a video of the Pharrell Daft Punk tune.
Get Lucky.
Get Lucky. We do it, and some band just decided to do a cover of it like recently. Like it must be like 3 weeks old. I'm like, I push play, and the budget in this video, like it was a beautiful studio, and just the cameras and I'm watching. I'm like, why? Like, why would you put all this money and effort into this now?
This I do know.
Okay, tell me. Yeah,
This I do know. So on your distribution, you can set up a single. You can even go onto SOCAN, right? So Songwriters Registration for Canada. America would be ASCAP or BMI. You can go to you register a song that's not yours, and you can put it down as a cover. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Yes. Yeah, that.
It's the same thing with your distribution. You can put out a single that's not yours. You can put out a single as a cover and make that your single. So if they're doing a music video or live off the floor video for that song and they put all that budget into it, they're releasing it as a single. They're not getting all the royalties. They're getting performance cred and they're getting maybe arrangement cred, but they're getting all the monies that the revenue for that video is getting. And then so if you put like, depending on their deal, I think it's really dependent on their deal. 70 cents on the dollar goes to the artist, the composers. The composer. Right? And then you have your 30 cents on the dollar that'll go back to the artist that's releasing it. So there is incentive.
Because I'm just thinking, I understand, a lot of guys would do that on on an album, especially when they're coming out.
Yeah.
To do a cover, and that all made sense to me. But the YouTube video kind of threw me off a little bit.
It's a lot of money to put into a cover. Like that's a lot. That's a big budget.
I mean, people do it. I just don't want to put anything down and come back. I just felt like it was kind of like they weren't doing anything to the song that we don't do live.
So the arrangement was pretty much the same as the original.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And it was and then when you're watching the video, you're just kind of missing some of the parts. Although there's 2 guitar solos that were smoking, but
the guitar solos.
Yeah.
Well, I guess where the Daft Punk's interlude would go, right?
Yeah. But other than they were totally ripping it, an amazing tone in their solos and
good production quality, all that stuff.
Yeah,
right?
I don't get it.
Send that to me. I'm interested to see it.
Yeah, and it's just weird that it showed up on the homepage, and I was like, all right, and I was just like, am I an old guy now? Am I just getting mad at this because I don't get it? Because I feel like we're kind of past that now in some ways.
Yes,
and,
in a way, yeah.
Right, and but then if they are distributed and everything, then I mean it's just weird, right? Because when you push play on something, you just have no idea.
No, but
what
I mean, if you remember
where the money's going,
if you remember 2019, which was 20 years ago, back in 2019, covers weren't really big on social media, on YouTube and stuff like that. COVID kind of rebirthed the cover.
This is true too.
Right? So people are looking for different variations of the song. Like I want an acoustic version of this song.
They're popping up pretty up. They're up in the search too, right? So there'll be the original video, maybe a lyric video of the original or some, and then all of a sudden
that's the trick.
versions.
The more videos of the same thing that you have up, the more chances you have of traffic coming into it, which is so annoying. Can you imagine having like 4 of the same song on an album? That's pretty much what your playlist looks like. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's super frustrating that way.
There's a lot of, I find too, because people are learning. I'm fine with teaching now that everybody's teaching online. Obviously you show them through the screen or you play it this way, but now there's especially with guitar, there's not always a live version or a live version. You could see the guitar player, but there's all these acoustic covers. So they're getting clicks so people could see chord shapes. Like, is he playing the full bar chord? Is he playing with the capo, right? Like
that can't be beneficial.
So there's a lot of that going on for sure now because I'm part of that. I'll just be like, oh, check this cover out because it's the proper version.
I like that. I think that's beneficial.
So I think that's going on. That's what I was doing with my with my Instagram. I was just like, this is a cool bass line, and I would just play like the riff from the song I liked, and I was just like, here it is. Here it is, everybody. Like it's this, or at least I think it's this, and it sounds pretty damn close. And maybe tell me if I'm wrong, right? So I did a lot. Like my Instagram is full of that for a period of time because I was just learning tunes. Basically, at the beginning of COVID, it was like, okay, learn tunes that I always wanted to learn and goof around with sounds and learn my home studio and finally record some songs that I either wrote or did my own bass version of.
Yeah,
because people love bass version of stuff. But
I mean, I did the same thing when COVID first started. Even before we started the podcast, I kind of had this like solo
clean up
vocal how-to. Yeah, right. It's called Voice Noise with Daniel Panetta. If you want to check it out, I knew immediately when I was doing it, it was only going to be a limited series. Mm-hmm. I was only going to do a few videos. I wasn't going to like drag on. I was going to do a couple reaction videos.
I wonder if you did it and you were like really maintained on it because there's a few people that are still doing it. And it's funny because I'll send messages to like, don't forget your thought, but I sometimes send messages to like Drew or something, be like, this bass player is still fucking doing this. Like I'm tired of seeing him in my feed. And then am I old?
No, man.
But I wonder if you kept doing that like hardcore. That you were, I wonder if
I've got a couple like 7,000 views on it, like that kind of thing, right? And I wanted to just do this so that way, people are wondering about certain vocal techniques and like how they work, how breathing technique work. But I wanted to do it as a limited series because my shit ain't free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I spent so much money learning to do what I do, and I don't want to give it all away for free. But I want to give the meat and potatoes, that way people don't hurt themselves when they try.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why I put out that series, and that's why I put out the videos that I did. Like I did a Freddie Mercury and Adam Lambert reaction video. And I reacted to Freddie Mercury. I can't even remember what I reacted to. I think Love of My Life. And then I reacted to Adam Lambert singing Believe by Cher at Kennedy Center Honors, which was a beautiful performance. And that one just blew up. And people had really nice points in the comments talking about, thank you, for breaking down the technical part of it, and like what he's actually doing in certain parts. And even I'm even asking myself questions during the video. It's like, okay, was that the microphone cut off, or was that him actually inhaling with a cut in his sound? Could that be a gate that they have on the microphone? I'm asking myself those questions while I'm watching the reaction.
Those
right?
are things people want to learn is how to. I like stuff like that. Some of them are kind of silly, but you want to. Oh my god! But like you're like, oh, this guy who knows what he's talking about has the same questions that I have.
Yeah,
that helps. It makes you feel.
I think I
human.
just wanted to spread the veil a little bit and just like talk about people's favorite singers, and it's like. It is possible to replicate that, but don't. Be your own. But in case you're wondering how it's done and how they achieve these certain inflections in their voice or certain textures and colors, this is how it's done, and this is how you do it, and this is, palatal degrees, singing with your palate, and different degrees that you can sing with. So, like, I get into the nitty gritty. I do get into that stuff. I don't go hardcore the way that I was taught, but I get into like the a lot of the anatomical part of the biological part of singing. I do get into that. So in that series, and that was it. And then I didn't want to put out anymore. I wasn't looking for views. What I was looking for was if somebody was having trouble with a specific part of their voice, here's a clip.
Yeah.
I've done this for you.
Well, I think did people message you to start teaching them? I'm sure
I'm still teaching them.
Yeah.
I started this this vocal boot camp, and I'm coaching people. I have clients. I don't have students.
Yeah.
Right. Because all the people that I'm working with are gigging vocalists.
Yeah.
And like that's what I'm looking for. I like people that are touring and things like that. I don't want them hurting themselves, especially coming out of COVID. It's like you've been dormant for a while, or you're singing like one-offs kind of thing. So those are the people I'm working with right now. There are a lot of gigging vocalists and just kind of like helping them out.
Because would you want to get into one-on-one like you used to, like I do, or you just...
like teaching kids and stuff like that?
Yeah, I should have been more like, you're half hour a week. Like right now, obviously you've got someone that'll call you and you'll deal with, 2 hours today and then won't hear from them for a week or 2 weeks or 2 months or when they need you, right? So would you...
I'm going to say no.
Yeah.
And the reason why, and it's very different because I've taught instrumentally as well.
Yeah.
It's very different with piano versus doing it with voice. Doing it with piano, the curriculum's there. Notes on the page. The song's there in front of you. We're trying to replicate this. We're trying to duplicate that. Like it's pretty much the piano technique is always going to be piano technique, but vocal technique changes from person to person.
Yes.
Okay. It's very much customized per person. Yeah. Now,
it's a lot of work. I find
if I do that with a kid, it's going to change in 3 years because their voice is changing. Or it's going to modify. Don't get me wrong. I loved going through that stage with a person whose voice was going through a change, because it is important to sing through that.
Yes,
it is very important to sing through that, and I felt qualified to be able to help them through that. 100%. Was not paid enough to do it.
No.
You're dealing with somebody's voice. Never mind being able to sing. If the wrong teacher gets a hold of that, they won't be able to talk. So, but I just wasn't paid enough. You can't expect me to give that information to somebody and walk away with pennies, So if someone came up to you and said, "Oh, my 4-year-old is so into music, into singing," what do you tell them? Keep playing music for them until they're 8.
And let them see. This this is kind of the hard thing I always think about with teaching, right? Especially with vocal, right? Because it's like, because they have these little programs and stuff I see and pop up in here and there, and I'm like, are you telling the parents you're giving them like vocal? Like,
honestly,
I
the
think
appreciation of music is ageless.
that's what I tell people.
It's ageless.
A friend of mine, she's like, oh, my kid's so into guitar, and I'm like, yeah, just keep giving them ukuleles and guitars and bring them around the music, and then wait till they grow older, because I find when you put a school aspect into something, it changes. It ruins.
But you want them hungry enough that they want the school.
Yeah.
Right. So I remember being a kid before I started vocal lessons, learning how to record myself, plugging my phone in, figuring out the adapter to get XLR to the 3.5 to plug into my tower, putting a sock over my microphone so I can hear myself back and hear what I sound like.
Yeah.
When it gets to that point, maybe it's time to have other people listen to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a real hard thing, right? Like, I think that's something. I think it's great. Like, I think having little kids, I see some. I've seen it in the past, and obviously COVID and the numbers and stuff. But I knew some, some good classes of like, you put like the four or 5-year-olds in a room, and they're smashing, pianos and xylophones and singing along and, clapping and playing drum beats. I think that's cool, where it's like this fun environment, and they've got these new friends and they get to dance and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like you gotta like want it, need it.
And my teaching method, I don't think I could never work for somebody because they would never like my method.
Because you are pantless.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Right.
But more than that,
Presume.
I think the big thing is they don't like the way that I do my teaching method, because I don't pander to the hope of them coming back. I don't pander to that. I tell them, that sounded great. You are great. You are good at what you're doing, because especially with vocalists, they already come into the lesson thinking they know what the hell they're doing, and it doesn't matter what age they are. Doesn't matter what age they are. That's actually
where I was gonna hit next.
Does not matter what age they are. It just is like they come in and it's like, I want to be a professional singer. This is what I sound like. It's like, you sound great, but don't get me wrong, and I don't care what age they are. There is better.
Yeah.
Say so.
Which is why you go to lesson.
Yeah, there is better, but like, there are vocal teachers out there, and it drives me crazy because you're feeding into the singer ego, which is these kids grow up to be entertainers and performers that keep this ego. Yeah. I had professors and teachers and people that are like, this is not good enough.
Yeah, that's what you want.
Made me want to do better.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you can do better. I'm not saying that it's impossible for you, but this isn't good enough. Yeah. That's the kind of teaching that I got, and that's the thing that kept me motivated. It's kept me motivated now into my 30s.
So every gig we play, I don't walk out going, wow, damn, fuck, every note, right? I'm always like, oh, what did I do wrong? And most of my friends and, how could have made it better?
Right.
Right? And because, perfect example, right? With us, first gig we had with Ian and Pacillo was great, and we could have walked off there and been like, yep, let's not do anything.
Job well done, boys.
And then if you look at then we start the last 2 gigs, especially because it was coming out of another lockdown, we had a little bit more energy, and there was people in front of us too.
That helped.
Yeah, right. And we went for things. And
we tried things. Yeah,
what was amazing was we went for things the first time. I remember exactly what songs and everything, and I'm not going to bore anybody. But the second time, the gig that we did, I guess a week or 2 later, we tried to go for those things, and they ended up a little different. One, I don't think was as good, but the other stuff was way better. And it's because all of us want to always do better. We don't want to call it in. And we also want to make the gig interesting for ourselves.
Yeah, when you're playing the same songs at a lot of the gigs that we're playing, like, you want to be self-entertained.
You want to have
because the audience loves that too. When you're laughing on stage,
Yeah.
when you're having a good time with your bandmates, it makes for a great show.
And I just love how, I mean, and people are always like, well, who do you like to play with? I'm like, people that make me better, and then I push them and they push me, and
Yes.
it's just this back and forth thing, and that was really good. Really excited me about the last 2 gigs we did. I just love the fact that we're like, oh, we're comfortable.
Yeah,
Oh,
like there's
we're
certain
helping each
nuances
other.
that we all know about each other. Like I know, and Ian still surprises me, but like there's certain things that he does in certain songs that I'm expecting, and he plays into my expectation.
yeah.
And I love it,
Yeah.
right? Because
There
I
is
play
that
with
game
that
too. There's
right?
that game.
And I've
Oh,
learned
you
that
wanna
those
hear
things about
this?
you
Yeah,
too. Like
yeah.
there's certain songs where you do like triplet runs, and I'll try to like emulate
that
that
there?
vocally.
Is that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2?
Yeah.
I do that?
Yeah, sometimes like you'll do these like little inflections, and like I'll try to emulate that with my voice, or Dan will do something on the drums to kind of like to highlight it, right? That's what I love. It becomes like not necessarily changing the formula of the equation, but it puts it in cursive, It
Puts it in cursive. So kids are not allowed to do and learn. Here we go.
You want to take a break? Yeah, let's take a break.
Yeah, right?
Well, I don't even. We probably have a commercial.
Yeah, okay.
I still have the subscription going, so yeah, we have commercials.
We have commercials.
So
Right on.
let's do a commercial. Come back. We'll do a segment that
Y'all love and
hate, and we'll be right back.
All right.
See you guys. Hey guys, Daniel here from Behind the Hooks. Just wanted to take this time to let you know about Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout is who we use here on our show to distribute our show to all the platforms that we can, Spotify and all that fun stuff. Follow the link in the description and the show notes, and it gets you a $20 Amazon gift card if you sign up for a paid plan, and it helps support our show, which is pretty great. That would be nice. We use it. It's been nothing but great. It's super easy to use. The customer support and the help that I've gotten, because I am tech dumb, has been nothing but incredible. If you want to upgrade, Buzzsprout has tons of guides to help you find the right equipment at the right place. Just start with some gear, a quiet place, and you can literally upload a podcast from anywhere. You'll get real great looking podcasts because of the website. The website is super sleek and it's really nice. It's nice to have a hub for people to go to if they just want to listen to your show. It's not hard if you have the right partners. The team at Buzzsprout is passionate about helping you succeed. I've experienced this firsthand. We had a previous show that I didn't have access to, and I was worried about it kind of convoluting the market a little bit. So the fact that we can run side by side is absolutely amazing. Join over 100,000 podcasters already using Buzzsprout to get their message out to the world. Your message is important, and Buzzsprout is here to help you get it out there. We use it, we love it, and we know that you guys will love it too. So, like I said, there's some incentives behind it. Go ahead and check out the link that I'm going to be putting in the description and the show notes. Now, let's get back to the show. On this day in music history. All right, so on this day
In
music
history.
1975, Bob Dylan went number 1 on the U.S. charts with his 15th studio album. 15th,
That's
1975, 15th.
That's the major point of this.
Okay. It was Blood on the Tracks, his second U.S. number 1 album. The album has become one of Dylan's all-time best-selling studio releases with a double platinum U.S. certification by the Recording Industry Association of America.
2 interesting facts. You just said that was the second
Number
number
1 of 15.
of 15.
Yeah.
And when you think of Bob Dylan, he's known as one of the greats.
Yep.
Love him or hate him. But that's crazy. So his first album was what, 1962?
62.
63? So 62 to 75, simple math, is 13 years.
Wow, you're good.
Yeah.
Where'd you learn them numbers at?
Back in my day,
We didn't have no
have phones.
calculator.
they told us we'll never have a calculator in our
Never
pocket
carry around a
or
calculator.
calculator.
Yeah, I got that lecture too.
And he also had a little break before that because he got into a car accident or something where he changed his voice. That album's really
Right.
great. One of my favorite albums for sure.
This is before. Was this before he went to Message Songs in like 75, or was that in the initial records that he put out? Was more of the jazz stuff?
Oh, I forget because I went in hard on him years.
We need to
ago.
call Ian Leslie.
Years ago, yeah. You know, but it's just crazy how fast they were pumping out albums, and how much, how much the record companies took and let happen, and all of a sudden he's got another number one like after 15 albums. I mean, how many bands even get 4 albums done anymore?
15 albums is like a lifetime for most people. Most people like 15 albums like nowadays.
Who even has 15 albums other than
That's still alive?
46 people?
That's still alive. Like I could think like Tom Jones.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons. I mean, but
from that,
now
they're all from that era.
Yeah, exactly. They're all from that era. The Sinatras, because like Zeppelin broke up. Like there's bands that broke up before that happened. Yeah, Robert Plant's released. He's singing on 20 albums.
Well, they put that much out because there was no social media and like no constant attention and stuff like that. The only way you could get attention was putting out a record and doing live shows. So that was their version of getting their stuff out there.
And that's how they made money.
Yeah.
They only toured to promote the album sales.
It's opposite now.
So opposite now. We should talk about some of that in the next episode.
We definitely will because why not?
Why not?
I'm so sorry that we like my knowledge of Bob Dylan goes a little like it's a little vague. I go based on what he is vocally.
Yeah.
Right. Anybody can say what they want about Bob Dylan's vocal performance. One of my biggest things, and it's the same thing with Sinatra, and this is a cool little parallel between the two, is their phrasing.
Yeah.
Is very, very much uniquely theirs.
Yeah.
It's very laxed, but at the same time falls into the rhythmic scope that's pleasing to the ear.
Yeah.
So he may not have a huge range, especially after that accident. He may not have a huge range, but it's so uniquely phrased for him that only he could pull it off. So that's one of the things that I definitely respect about Bob Dylan.
I love when people write for their voice, right? Like so many great, like him, he's not... like you said, his phrasing is what makes him. What people don't understand what they like about him is he's just so wicked.
Yeah.
In his phrasing. Yeah, right.
I mean, he just knows what to say.
And people are, people are, he's a shit singer. It's like, no, he's no, Otis Redding, but he wrote for that. He knew that, and he could pound words and like.
Same thing with Leonard Cohen,
yeah,
and Tom Waits. They have very unique voices. Maybe not going to be classified as the greatest vocalists of all time, but they're going to be like the greatest storytellers.
They know how to tell a story. They know how to put it to music.
Yeah,
they know how to make it like it's just like 15 albums
by 75. Never mind how many he's
and
put
he was
out now.
touring, and he was everywhere. You know, he was at all the festivals and everything, and he was everywhere. And just to be like, but they would also record albums differently. But it's just so brilliant. It's just like, just the way he could write that fast. Were they all hits? No, but there's a lot of real good ones, right? Like,
oh yeah, his discography. I mean, like it's historical, man. Like there's songs still being played on the radio, still influencing people, artists to this day, and their writing styles.
Yeah, I mean, there's musicians and there's he's a writer, and how fast he could read an article or see something on the news and he would write for it and it's just so amazing. Like he wrote about racism, and he wrote about
Nam,
and he wrote about everything, whatever.
Social
man,
injustice.
everything he wrote about.
He's
It's
kind of
so
like the
fun.
granddaddy of all that, you know? Like, there's this really cool part in One Night in Miami, or it's a movie surrounding this night in a hotel room in Miami with Malcolm X, Sam Cooke, Joe Brown, and Muhammad Ali. And it was around the time that Muhammad Ali was converting to Muslim, and Sam Cooke is in the room. Malcolm X is basically scolding him because it's like, the songs you're putting out, why aren't you talking about the struggle? Why aren't you talking about what's going on? And then he puts on a Bob Dylan record.
Yeah.
And he says, why
Why
does he get it?
Yeah, and you don't.
And you're singing songs about lovey-dovey Cupid and all this stuff. And then shortly after that, he came out with A Change Is Gonna Come.
One of the greatest songs about all that.
Yeah. I got goosebumps. Just
That was,
thinking
me
about
too.
that.
Yeah, because there was, yeah. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
To think that Malcolm X and Bob Dylan fueled one of the most heart-wrenching songs to come out of Sam Cooke.
Yeah, little did I know any of that. I just thought Sam would have just wrote it, just like Bob would write something, not realizing that, he just got told by those guys.
What a time, man.
What a time. Wow. All that stuff coming out in all that time and so fast. And then that's why, when your parents say,
music's not the same as it used to be.
the same
Well,
as it
there's
used
not
to be.
there's not so much to say anymore. There is. Okay, let me rephrase that.
yeah.
There is so much to say, but I just don't think we have the lexicon of a vocabulary or intellectual artists that are mainstream that can put out those messages.
Anybody that's doing kind of a Dylan thing right now aren't on the radio.
Yeah, they're
aren't on
very
the mainstream.
independent.
There are a ton of them, and thank God, I guess, for YouTube and stuff. But yeah, they're just not getting the same. I mean, there's just too much music, and there's too much. There's too much coming out.
Yeah.
And where do you put it? Well, it's not all going to make in the radio, even though it's weird because paola's done, but there's a different type of paola that I don't know about
100%.
yet. There's
100%. No, I'll tell you, there is.
Yeah.
Because in order to get on a playlist, you have to pay your way on there.
Well,
for a lot
yeah.
of playlists.
Yeah, a lot of bands, original bands I've recorded with and whatnot, it's just like that's the new angle.
Mm-hmm.
So you pay someone that gets you
Or get featured on somebody's page, you pay $15 to get on there. And these guys have millions and millions of followers. So there is a version of payola that's still out there, and it's not illegal and it's not wrong, because if you want to get featured somewhere, then yeah, you gotta pay for that slot. It's just like any other kind of
commercial.
Right. So, yeah, it's you're advertising yourself. You have to pay for that slot. This is your Super Bowl commercial, basically.
There's a lot of money right there.
Yeah. So we'll definitely get into that nitty gritty. I think that's an important point to make. But I think one thing that we can leave it with is, yes, there's a lot of music out there. Yes, it gets too much, but find those rabbit holes for yourself, because you'll discover some really interesting, and you might find your new favorite artist. You might find your new favorite genre by doing those rabbit hole searches. Look at the artists you love right now and do a little bit of backtracking. See what their influences were and see if those influences affect you the same way.
On that note, I am Manny.
I'm Danny.
And we out.
See ya.
Behind the Hooks. With Manny DeGrandis.